Hey guys, so I wanted to do a little pick-up pile reading for you. This video is time-stamped, so after the intro, if you feel you know which pile you're drawn to, you can just go ahead and skip to that portion of the video. Also, I've been sick for a while and my voice has been kind of in and out, so we'll see how things go. I've been getting a lot better lately, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. But yeah, I'll put the timestamp info in the description below, and that way, you know, you can follow according to that if you want to skip through. As always, you know, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. That helps my videos. That helps me know what you guys are liking, and then it helps this channel grow in general. And that way I know what you want more of and how things are resonating. And then when you subscribe, you know, that makes it to where you don't miss any of my free readings or weekly pick a pile readings, or any of my monthly zodiac readings. Also, I will say I'm kind of working on it a little bit more, but I started a Patreon page. So if these resonate for you, and then and you know, you like my reading style, whatever, you can also check out, you know, your free monthly zodiacs on my channel. And then from there, if your monthly zodiacs resonate for you, you can also check out my the Patreon page where I do extended readings. So it's a little bit more specified, and it's more, you know, me basically picking up on your energy that way. Excuse me. But yeah, so this is a general reading for the collective. So again, take what resonates, leave the rest. And this one is going to be about what you need to hear right now. So just go ahead and focus on that question, or ask Spirit what you need to hear right now in this moment when you're watching this. And keeping that in mind, pick the pile that you're most drawn to. So we've got pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. And as I said, the timestamps will be in the description below. Hey, pile 1. So if you picked pile 1, this is your reading. Again, my voice is already starting to get kind of scratchy, so we'll see how this goes. So yeah. Growth. Maybe I'll show this a little bit more. You know what's funny is, like, I see her, like, I mean, I know this is her hair and everything else, but hopefully you're not getting any glare from the light, but I see her like flipping her hair, and it's almost like she just got out of the shower. It's just in my mind's eye, and like it makes me feel like, you know, the whole like, you're not fully clean until you're successfully clean, like, you know, like the whole jingle. And it's this idea that like there's this growth, but I feel like it's almost like she's like basking in this cleansing, in this healing. I want to say healing. I know it's cleansing, you know, as far as being clean, whatever, but like just cleansing. I feel like for some of you guys, it's a matter of like removing from past attachments. And then when you remove from past attachments, from past things that you've held on to, it allows room for healthier attachments to come in. Well, not attachment, but you know what I mean? Like healthier connections, healthier, higher vibrational energy in your life. So I get this feeling like it's like she's at a state of growth and she's growing, but it's like this element that like she's kind of reveling in it. So some of you guys already are doing that, and some of you guys are being called to be in that place of really taking in and allowing the process of letting go of things that no longer serve you to be this beautiful, joyful thing. And it's not so much like, oh, fine, I'll get rid of this, and begrudgingly. That's not the energy, but rather like in this like excited for what better the universe has for you. At the end, if I feel led to read from the book of this deck, I will, but I don't want to do it just yet. I don't believe so. Yeah. So yeah. Let's go. Actually, for this one. Island Solitude. Yeah, and it's like, some of you guys, it's funny too, because it's like she's separate from this area. So it's like, in order to get to this place of this growth, or not this growth, but of, I want to say hearing yourself breathe. I don't know, like normally that's not the phrase I would be using. It would be more so like hearing your own voice, or like being able to hear yourself, being able to recognize yourself. But I kind of want to say, for, I guess, I don't know, some of you guys need to hear it's hearing yourself breathe. So maybe some of you guys need to hear that breathing in. Some of you guys, it might be a meditation thing that you need to work on your breathing, work on breathing exercises, things like that. And others of you, it's a situation, again, like I said, where it's like, in order to get to this place to where you can see the difference. And I bring this up a lot in my readings, but the difference between where you, not the difference, but the point in which you start and others begin, you know, that cutting the energy. It's like some of you may need to get to a place where you separate yourself and you go to this place of solitude so you can feel your own energy. And some of you are in that state right now. And again, it might look murky, it might look like dark, and I want to say dreary, but it might just be because you've been so used to other people's energy that just like brighten things up. It's almost like a instant gratification situation, that it's like maybe some of you guys haven't really exercised how to, or maybe in a while, I don't know, how to brighten up your own space in just you, in your own solitude, in your aloneness. And I keep seeing, I mean, I know island, that's how you write island. I know that's normal, but I keep saying like is land. And I get the idea that it's like, well, this is land. Like you might think it's like murky, or it's like the top of a mountain, because you know that's what you know an island is. In the water, it continues, but it's still land. Like it's still a solid ground, even if it might not be, like I said, familiar to you, or it might be murky because of what you've been used to. It's solid ground. Let's go for this. Knight of Wands, that's interesting. The World, I'll show you guys these cards a little bit. Six of Cups and Five of Pentacles. So Knight of Wands, the World, ouch, the Six of Cups, and Five of Pentacles. So right off the bat, I mean, there's two things I'm seeing. I see parallel to that idea, that concept, in the way this card looks right now. I'm trying to think, do I start telling you guys that first, or something I'm seeing here? Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys this first. So I get this feeling, it's almost like, again, when the light is shed on you, when you have other people's light shed on you, I'm not saying that's what this is, but you know, you might look like this, you know, colorful, you know, different situation you're in. But then when it's not other people's light shed on you, it is, you know, it's this not murky, but bland situation. So some of you guys, I feel like, to be honest with you, have been kind of addicted to needing other people, I hate to say, needing other people's sight, perspective of you to validate yourself. So it's like, and some of you it's a clear validation situation. Others of you it's more so it's just that life of the party where you feel like alone, you're just kind of blah, and when other people are around you feel like you come alive and everything comes alive. So again, but the thing is the Knight of Wands is a card of, it's movement, but it's like, and this is forward too, movement, and passion, creativity. It's really aggressive though. It's really aggressive, really gung-ho. Sometimes in a relationship situation, it can be, you know, it can be like a player energy as well, or just, you know, someone just, you know, just focusing on the physical aspect of things. But in this card for you guys, it feels like, I mean, and some of you guys, it can be that way. If you're dealing in a relationship situation or a connection, there might be like, you might be pushing things. I feel like saying for like maybe a group of a few of you, or maybe a couple, you might be pushing things to move faster. You or the person you're dealing with. Again, I can be pulling energy around you as well, but can be pushing things to move faster. Oh wow, I just saw something. Okay, I'll tell you in a minute. But to move faster than like the actual whole picture, because it's more gratifying, because you feel like there's more life in it. Whereas if you kind of just take things on your own, in your own speed, not pushing things, it's like, feels like boring. There's a small group of you for that. I don't think that's everybody. Also, I'm looking at this, the way I see it is, it's funny. Okay, so I looked at this. Let me see if I can pull this up to you guys. I see this as like a shoulder, and this is like a neck, and then a head is up here, and then this is like somebody's like dress or shirt, whatever. Now I'm looking at it and I noticed, no, this is like a knight's helmet or whatever. So, hold on. So at one moment I was seeing, for one scenario, I was seeing it as a female going this way. So I feel like for those of you, you know, you may be, like I said, dealing with feminine energy, whatever, pushing things maybe faster than they need to be, more aggressive maybe even than they need to be, out of the desire for instant gratification. Okay? For the other group of you, it's like needing the validation, because for some of you, it's like you feel like when you're in this place of coming alive, well, not that, but coming alive because you have this outside social connection, or this perception of you that validates you, you feel like you're more in control. In a way, you feel like you have more armor because you're being validated. So not armor as in like you put your defenses down, but armor as in like, I almost want to say it's like now you're part of the team. Like, you know, like a knight is part of an army, is it? Army of knights? Yeah. So, I mean, not an army. I don't know what I'm talking about on that. Don't quote me on that. But basically, that's the energy I feel, is like you have a classification, is what I'm trying to say. You know, so as soon as someone sees you, you feel like, okay, now you're labeled, now you're valid, now you're legitimate. So as soon as you get that outside energy, and that could just be one person around you that sees you, makes you feel that way, or that could just be your attitude with people in general. I feel like most of you, it's your attitude in general, but you might be noticing it in the present currently with an individual. Again, I feel like speeding, going through. I mean, the World card can be a card of completion and a, like it is, it's like a card of completion and everything coming together, but understanding like what it took to get there, I feel like saying. But I feel like for some of you guys, it's like this whirlwind of constant, like it's almost like here's all this stuff here. It makes it look like stuff. I mean, it's animals and other things, but I just, her nakedness is very like clear, especially because of that thing on her head. is just very, or that's her hair, I guess. Okay. Well, either way, her hair is covering her up, her face up, her mouth up, honestly. So it's, again, vulnerability without the idea, without the ability to speak about it, because you're in this whirlwind of energy. And it's like you push through, and then when you get here, you're like, okay, I've completed the cycle. But then it's like, what did you complete it with? Because you're not clothed. You have all this stuff around you. And again, it just feels like she's going with the current. And I don't feel like it's a choice, an intention. I feel like she's just, it's almost like a tornado. Like, I mean, tornado is what, excuse me. In a tornado, air is what moves you around if you're like stuck in a tornado. But this is as if like it's not the air, but the stuff is what moved her. So it's like all the stuff, like all the momentum, all the things you set in place is what like moves you. But then again, you might not be feeling ready once you're here. So again, you might be pushing things faster than they need to be, or faster than is what's natural. And then here you get here and it's like everything's moved you and you're like, what do I do with this? You may be dealing with a Scorpio or Aquarius energy. Yeah, possibly Leo, possibly Taurus. But yeah, it's very, it's this weird energy of, I'm going to force things, I'm going to push things out of that desire for validation. But then when you get here, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not even the one in control anymore. Now everything I've set up is what's controlling me. I feel like for some of you guys, it could be a creative project you worked on, you dealt with, you started up, and now you feel like it's the one that has, not the lead, but has the reins, has the, you know what I mean? I don't remember what that term is. What I was seeing in this though is this idea of confrontation. Six of Cups can be a nostalgic card. It can be connecting with past connections. It can be it can even be like your inner child connecting with child connections, not child connect, but past connections. Can be old lovers, you know, people coming in from the past. But it's funny because the Five of Pentacles is a card of letting go, and there's this dreary deadness here. So I feel like some of you guys are really needing to, in this moment of having everything push you, in order to be able to come back to yourself, yet be able to come into power in this position that you're at, because this is all the stuff you created. It's not that this is bad. It's just, you kind of might feel like you weren't ready, and you might feel like you don't have a say in it either, because of how much you've developed things. Again, like things are murky as far as the location where you're at. It's just dealing with this energy, this confrontational energy, I feel like. And it's not super confrontational as far as like, oh, it's not like an enemy. It's someone that's like, you know, energy that's like you. But one is above the other. But what I was gonna say with this is, yeah, it's a connecting together with someone, but I feel like it's a confronting and coming to a place where you say, okay, well, I'm gonna let go of this energy that doesn't serve me, because either I'm holding on to it for dear life, like a beggar, like saying that that's what validates me, or I'm calling it out for what it is and I'm letting go of it. So I feel like you guys are coming to that place in yourself of this kind of energy of deciding, you know, in order to make your dreams appear real, in order to make, not appear real, but come true, in order to manifest your dreams, in order to manifest the reality that's around you in a good way, you know, to see where you're at, to see your position, your standing, you're deciding you need to get rid of things that have, I want to say, been lording over you, as far as energy, or as far as your need for validation, whether it's within yourself, whether it's limiting beliefs, whether it's other people. I think a lot of this, for a lot of people, it is an other people situation, like I said, validation. But some of you guys can just be looking for outside energy in general and realizing that you're not going to be happy with external motivation, or that's not going to keep you, that's not going to sustain you. Furred, I think Furred, I want to say feared, but Furred. Why do we want to say feared? Feared. Like fury, fear. Okay, furred and feathered friends. And friends are furry. It's funny too, it's the same animal there. But it's like with like, they're connecting, and even like this eagle is riding on or actually holding, I think, like a crystal or diamond right above her. That's making it look like it's part of her. So it's like the whole picture is like, it's interesting how this fish is right here. Like, it's almost like I want to say she's owning the moment. It's like she's taking these guys, everything around her, and she could be like, oh, I'm like overwhelmed, da, da, da. But she's owning the moment and letting it be part of her, letting it be part of her strengths. So it's like, instead of having this like push you to where you feel like you don't have a say, it's like the opposite of this card, or not the opposite, but the positive of this card, where it's like letting everything be there, but then coexisting in that situation, but then letting it strengthen you instead of push you out or make you feel like you don't have a voice. I want to say for some of you guys, this is a matter of perception. The idea of if you have a voice or not. It's like when you get into this place and you automatically see everything else as bigger than you, then you start losing your voice and you start losing your, I want to say, will to speak. Will to stand up for yourself, will to speak up. So some of it is like, it's a matter of perception that like you kind of get the ball rolling, so to speak, like when you do that. Another thing about this is it feels kind of very, it feels like once she does this, she confronts things and sees things for what they are and lets go of what's holding her back and lets go of that mentality and sees that she has been in that mentality. You know, once you see that you have been in that mentality of needing this outside validation, needing that other person's perspective to identify yourself or to make yourself feel legitimate, then you gain back your power and then you start seeing yourself in the driver's seat. So then when you come here, when you're here, you're more like here instead. I want to say some of you guys, if you're leading other people or other energies or you're working on something, or maybe other projects, like a lot of these animals feel very clueless to me. Clueless and vulnerable, or vulnerable, either or. Like this one looks really clueless and maybe even sad. So I feel like some of you guys, when you're in this position of leadership of doing this, you might let go of people that don't see why you're letting them go. Or you might be dealing with people that don't understand why you're operating the way you are, and they just feel like they're at your mercy. And so in some ways you might feel obligated to be their light, when in reality, you're only responsible for yourself. And that's part of their journey, is them finding their light. Exactly. See, it's like once you decide to go inward, your voice starts coming out. You start coming out in different areas. I want to say in projects and stuff like that, like in your hand. Again, when you're inward like that, it might look dreary. It might look bleak. It might look like something you don't know. But there's this light, this covering over you. And you're in this state of healing. I mean, you're in the state of healing, literally. Stillness. It's just a matter of going to that place, going to that solitude, going even in yourself to where you can hear yourself breathe. You can hear yourself breathe. You can see the droplets. You can hear that. And that's where you're supposed to rest. I feel like I am supposed to read this though. So I'm going to read what I told you I would if. So the growth card is card 15. Sorry, you'll have to, let me get some water real quick. Okay, you are never done with your spiritual growth. It's a lifelong process. There will always be something new to become skilled at, and ways to enhance your energy. Make your spiritual growth a priority, set goals to further your knowledge, and plan how you're going to achieve this. Share what you've learned with others. You can do this by blogging or by modeling the lessons you are learning. Practice visualizing and believing in your inner senses. Start your growth process by taking a deep look within yourself. See yourself surrounded with the white light of your personal power. Hold this vision in your mind and increase your power by seeing your light expanding and emanating from you. Devote yourself to your own growth. Your own growth. Know what makes you feel happy, content, and in charge in your life. The light of the moon, there's the moon's here, but that's different, surrounds a fairy as well as the stars and the butterflies that trail from her legs. Stars represent luck, hope, renewal, and good health. The butterflies remind you that growth and change can happen in a joyful manner. The full moon indicates a time of reflection. Shine a light on what you are attracted to. You are definitely in a time of change and growth. And then I wonder, read the stillness card. I feel like I do. Okay, let's read this one for you. Okay, so the stillness card is this. It's okay. Frozen tundra. The tundra is a stark and severe landscape found in both the southern and northern hemispheres. It is usually bereft, of most plant and animal life, and can only support very low growing plants such as mosses and lichen. The soil is frozen year round, so it is impossible for trees to grow in that barren landscape. In the winter, the landscape is very cold and dark, and wild winds surge across the desolation. Even in the summer, the land remains frozen, although the surface can be soggy and covered with lakes, marshes, ponds, and bogs that become havens for millions of migrating birds. So the sacred landscape wants you to know, take a step back from a project, situation, or relationship, even if for just a few moments. Mend bridges, slow down, breathe, be still, go within. Listen to your inner voice. Take time to connect with your spirit guides, ancestors, and spiritual guardians. Listen to your higher self. Timing is everything. This is not a good time to start a new cycle. Wait, incubate, fix things that need fixing, heal things that need healing. Think things through. Forgive yourself and others. If things if things seem barren or even bleak, hold on. Just as the migrating birds find new life in the tundra marshes in the summer. You too will expand once again during the coming thaw in your life. And that's kind of what I was saying, is the idea that like you're going to bring your own light. You're going to learn. You are in a process of learning how to brighten things up and lighten things up, even outside of other people. Because some of you guys have focused and relied on other people's light or energy to, like I said, validate or make you feel legitimize, make you feel legitimate. So, hope that resonated with you guys, pile one. Let me know in the comments, again, what did and what didn't. Also, like I said, if this resonates with you, if this resonates with you and you feel drawn to other piles as well, I suggest you check them out because they might be for you as well. However, and if that's not the case, or also, sorry, I'm kind of all over the place right now. Also, if you feel drawn to check out my past videos, since this is timeless and you see this when you need to see it, I suggest you do that. My past pick a pile videos is what I'm saying. And then, well, either way, if you feel drawn to, or if if this resonates for you, feel free to check out my zodiac reading videos on my channel. And yeah, so sorry if I'm mouthful and then my voice is going, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I'll put the decks in the description below. I don't know if I already said that, I can't remember. And I will see you guys next time, unless you are staying around for pile 2. Hey, pile 2, if you picked pile 2, actually, excuse me, I am gonna drink some water. Well, I said in the video that my voice is kind of crazy, so please bear with me. So yeah, if you picked pile 2, this is your pile. It's crown chakra, the unlimited self. It's actually really pretty. It's funny, like, it makes me, like, it's like a cross between those two backs of the cards. I just feel like it's like this combo. Again, it says the unlimited self, so it's like the idea, if I'm seeing it as this combo, it's like, you don't have to be this or this. You can be the combination. And I feel like for some of you guys, that's your guys' message in this card is, you're not limited to being one way or another. It's like you're unlimited. Like, you're this, not conglomeration, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just this like expanse. And you're also not limited to a label, I feel like saying for some of you guys. Crystals, focus. Oh, look how all these cards are going together. Again, though, it's like, and I feel like for some of you guys, it's like you're not limited to a label and you're not limited to being this or this, but you need, as far as like what other people say or what you feel like, expectations outside, but you need to be true to yourself as to what you actually are, so that you're being intentional about what you're putting out. So then you can focus it out, and then you can, stand in your power in that way. Because I feel like, yeah, these are like focused little lights. And I just like, and it's very solid, like, so I feel like for some of you guys, it's not about holding to outside limitations of who you are, but rather being honest with yourself and clearing through what you aren't, or what you don't need to focus on right now, and focusing your energies to be intentional about it, and not just, oh, well, whatever comes my way, or I'm just gonna go with the flow, every time I see this card, I see it as like somebody nursing I feel like, but it's funny because it's like these are leaves, but then it also looks like brain patterns, like dendrites and like, I just imagine it that way. And it feels like for some of you guys, it's like you've gotten so unfocused because you've had this in your mind that you have to either like be incredibly technical to the point to where there's like no emotion, no nothing, and everything's super planned out. Or the alternative is being like super like, hold on. Okay, I take that back. Not the alternative, but in doing that technical thing, it's like you're nursing a baby that's not even there. It's like you're putting yourself in this position to feed this need that doesn't exist and to feed them from you. So it's like, again, you're trying to, it's almost like if this is like mammary glands or like, you know, ducts or whatever, it's like to give milk to something that doesn't even exist. So I feel like you guys are kind of trying to squeeze out of yourself this energy to a recipient that doesn't exist. So whether that, I feel like for some of you guys that might be actually saying like that's a person, but some of you guys that's like, you know, limited beliefs, things that you've believed, things that you've decided you needed to be this way or you needed to be this way. But in reality, this is saying that's not the way any of this works. Like, you're free. It's just you need to be true to yourself as to what you actually care about, you. Not this baby that doesn't exist, not things outside yourself, but what you care about, and go from there as to where your focuses will be. And I don't do reversals. Very interesting how like solid colors, purple, orange, blue, green. Purple, orange, blue, green. Well, red, but again, it's the same way though. It's like all of this is here. So it's like, I feel like it's like you have all these different elements. Maybe one of the elements is you trying to make connection, not just love, but in general, connection, and being able to say, okay, well, this is my focus, or this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to try to nurse this need. And then it's like, oh, but I need to, yeah, I feel like this is like, yeah, I need to, you know, influence in creative and passionate things. And I feel like it's also being equipped in that. So I need to wear the, I want to say guys, even though guys isn't what I'm trying to say. So maybe it's guys. Wear the disguise, wear the guise of, you know, somebody that would be influential. I need to put those clothes on. And then, but I need to, I want to say listen to my inner child for some of you, as far as how to do things and what to do. And that's also where you get onto this thing. So it's like, you know, I need to do this and I need to, you know, put the guys on is which one am I going to pick? How am I going to do this? And it's like, then I need to listen to this inner child or feeling that idea that inspires or like kind of distracts you to make you think you have to intellectualize everything, logicize everything, make everything super technical to where everything has to fit only a certain way. Like that whole, I want to say soulless energy, not saying your energy is soulless, but that mode of doing things. And then you get to this and you're like, okay, can I be complete yet? Can I be done? But I feel like for some of you guys, it's like when you get to this thing, it's like the Wheel of Fortune is also, I mean, it can be a card of completion, but it's also a matter of like different things looking different from different perspectives at different times and seasons. And it's like when you have the entire picture, then you can see everything that happened and what everything was for. But in each season, like sometimes things are easier than they are. Sometimes things are harder in the moment. And it doesn't mean that everything's always going to be that way. It's just that moment in time, and that's part of the cycle you're in. So I feel like you kind of like question all this when you get here because you're expecting completion, but you never really asked yourself what you wanted. It was about influencing putting on the guise to be able to influence, you know, I want to say influential and make people move is what I want to say for some of you guys. Like make people, inspire people. Some of you guys may be trying to connect to higher realms or to different stuff and trying to put on this guise to inspire people. And then, you know, you run into this part of yourself. Some of you, this is an inner child. Some of you, it's, you know, a parental voice, but regardless, it's a messenger that's like telling you, you know, how to do things in this logical, very methodical, emotionless, heart, you know, not thinking about your heart focus way. And in reality, what it does is it just stunts you and makes it to where you're not moving forward. And then when you get to this, you're like, but why am I not seeing the big picture? Why am I not understanding how this is working? Why is things not coming together? And it's because you haven't had that focus. Oh yeah, and these are cards that haven't been unflipped. I almost want to keep it like that, but we'll see. It's interesting how they came out like that. Get clear. Exactly. Get clear with yourself. Like, clarity doesn't mean adapt to other people's clarity and follow their rules. No, it means get clear as to what your actual intentions, motivations, and passions are. It's like, hear that bird, hear that voice in your head. Not this one, but the one that's like your heart, the one that sings the song. It's like, why the cage bird sings? Like, I mean, the one that sings the song, the part of you that allowed yourself to dream. Like, it's funny because it's like, I feel like it's two different looks, but it feels like she's right here, and then we see her here, and it's like, this is like the dreamscape of her, and it's like beautiful lighting and all this stuff, and it's like, and this bird is kind of caught between, so it's almost like a messenger. So it's like you have this, like, when you listen to your heart and you listen to your passions, you get this connection, this almost messenger to like your inner world, to who you really are, to your essence. So it's like, that's what you're supposed to do instead of trying to follow these rules of this baby that doesn't even exist, or feeding this baby this need that doesn't exist because the baby doesn't exist. Again, focus. Oh my gosh, you guys. Let's see, how's this message on this one? Oh, that's interesting. I mean, it has all the same colors again. What's funny is I see it almost similar to this card. I mean, they're both focus cards, but it's like the spots are here, or not spots, but you know, fireflies, and then the spots are here. And I get this idea that like I paint, and so like if I was to paint this picture, you know, all this other area, you know, I just, okay, different areas, put the color down, put things down, blah, 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 you know, whatever. And I'd get to the cheetah and I'd have to like really focus in on making those circles and making the shapes and stuff, the spots. And I feel like that's kind of how it is for you guys. It's like, you might think just because everything else gets thrown down around you and as perfect, that you don't have to be intentional about yourself. But the thing is you are you. You're, you know, you're the most important in your life. You have the driver's seat. So you need to give yourself that value, that time to allow yourself to be the focus of you. Allow yourself to zero in on you, to really hear your voice. My music just went off. And right before the music went off, I said you need to give yourself the time and value all that to hear your voice. And then the music went off. So I want to say, when the music stops, when all this, not that this is chaos, but when all the around you stops, in your head, you should still have a voice. It's like, there's a class I took when I was a lot younger. It was like an improv class. And one of the games they did in the class was we'd all sit in a circle and each person would be given a topic. And I was horrible at this, by the way. Each person would be given a topic. And when you got pointed at, you needed to be in the middle of a sentence. You had to have this inner dialogue going so that when they pointed at you, you were talking about your topic. But the thing is they were pointing at everyone else at the time too, beforehand. So it would be so easy to lose your voice and lose your focus and listen in on other people's topics, especially when they were being entertaining too. And so that's the thing, is it's like, you need to have your voice still going. You know, you need, when you get pointed at, you should be in the middle of of a sentence talking about whatever topic, because you have that much focus in your thing that you're not getting lost and thinking about everyone else's needs or everyone else's ideas to the point to where you disappear. So yeah, I hope that resonated for you guys. That was interesting. I love how the cards, how like God made it towards like this is, yeah, that's cool. And I almost didn't want to even, or not these, I almost didn't want to even like, which ones is it? This and, yeah, I almost didn't want to uncover those, because it was part of the reading already. So, but yeah, I'll go ahead and put the decks in the description below. Let me know in the comments what resonated, what didn't. If you feel drawn to check out the other piles from this video, I suggest you do. Also, you know, because you don't, you know, it's not just one or the other. It's whatever you're drawn to, whatever you're supposed to hear. If you feel drawn to check out my past readings on the pick-a piles and other videos, I suggest you do that. Again, these are timeless, so you're going to hear them when you need to hear them. So some of the ones before that you've already watched, there might be other piles that resonate for you that you're drawn to now that before you weren't, because now it applies and before it didn't. Yeah, so I will, like I said, I think already, I'll put the decks in the description below. And if these resonate for you on like all my pick-a-pile videos in general, I would suggest you check out your zodiac readings, your monthly zodiac readings, the tarot readings I do, in those videos, because those can also very well resonate for you. And please be patient with me because I'm still working on the monthly zodiacs. I'm kind of late this month, but like I said, I've been sick and really didn't want to be like losing my voice over and over and over, like so but yeah, so I will see you guys next time, and otherwise I'll see you if you are sticking around for pile 3. Hey pile 3, so if you picked pile 3, this is your pile. I will have the decks in the description below. Answers within. I feel like for some of you too, it's like your answers are within your own world, like within your inner world. And part of that is like coming back to your roots of who you are and knowing your power, seeing your power. Because it's like she has these wings, but it's so easy to see her as just like a child and not like having these wings and, you know, like a human child instead. And in reality, it's like you have these giftings, and some of you guys may peer out of what you're in as if you don't have the faith, as if you don't have the power, and maybe because you don't have the faith and you don't trust that you can't just fly around and look. It's like she doesn't have to just sit like that and look out. Like she can actually like full on fly, look, and then come back. So it's like some of you guys are seeing it as very black and white, in the sense that in order to look at one option, you have to, as if you don't have the means and the tools to look at it more deeply or to really experience it. So some of you guys are in a situation where if you really utilize the tools you have and your talents, you'll actually be able to get an idea for both scenarios. I feel like for some of you guys, like maybe some of you guys are trying to make a decision right now, and you're at the point of, you know, making a decision, trying to decide something, and you're acting like you can't really access fully the information about one of the options, when in reality you have the tools and the means to be able to really check it out and see what you're working with and see if you do need to go back here, you know. But part of coming to that place to where you can see that you have those tools is going back in yourself and seeing yourself for I want to say in that light, because it's like if she went in there, say this is like a whole garden of fairies and stuff, she'd remember that what she has, she'd remember that element about her. But when she's about to look at the human world, it's almost like she's forgetting that she's a fairy and suddenly she's looking at it like a human. So some of you guys, it's really a matter of not forgetting where you come from, because that's where the tools that you actually have right now came from. And it's not necessarily the people per se, it's just in general, like that not outcome, but I don't know how to explain it. And it's easy to see her wings as like almost similar to the petals as well. But it's not. Like she's her own person, her own, that's her own tool. It's just when you look at one option, don't start thinking that you have the limitations of that option. It's like the when in Rome, do what the Romans do, but it's like, it's as if like, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's almost like if like you went from today to like Rome from way back in the day before planes and all that. And like, it's, you know, just if you're like coming, sorry, this is so convoluted. If you're coming from the future of today, not the future, but the current of today, and you know, you have all this technology, and then you went in the past, into Rome in the past, if you had the choice to bring the technology, it's like, don't think that you're limited to the place that you're looking at, like their technology, their way of doing things. You have your own tools and strengths. Let's go here. It's interesting, this coloring is like similar to that. Oh, hold on, let me see. No, these, okay. So the wheel, Queen of Swords, well, Hangman, and Two of Cups. I feel like some of you guys are really looking at it like this is a final, like almost like the idea that a relationship or a connection is like your end goal. And in reality, that's so limiting, because it's this idea. It's the idea of when you look at this new scenario or this goal, forgetting what you come from. So Yeah, and literally, like, it's like when you go into that mode, forgetting where you come from, like both of their eyes are closed. And I get this sense that, like, they're oblivious to the world around them, but in this position for this card, for these cards, it doesn't feel like I don't know, it just doesn't feel like an ending goal. Like, it doesn't feel like it should be the goal. It's almost like this is your goal, when in reality, this should be your goal. Like, and I don't know what that exactly means, but I feel like it's like the goal should be the energy that takes you there, not the circumstances that are dependent on other people, if that makes sense. So it's like you might have these connections and your goal might be, and some of you might not even be romantic, might be like these connections with other people. And your goal shouldn't be the connections with other people. Your goal should be having the energy that brings in those connections, having the energy. So it's like not limiting yourself to just the physical and what's in this realm, the human realm, but really understanding like the power behind everything. I feel like saying like that everything's intertwined. And it's not just, you can't base your happiness off other people or off your connection with other people. It has to be your own like actual like understanding of peace and abundance in your life. It's funny too, because it's like I'm seeing this as the completion card for this, but in reality the wheel is a completion card normally. But also it's a card of, you know, you're at different things happen at different times, and all together you can see the bigger picture. But when you're in the season in each moment, it might look like, you know, you're in a harder time or you're in an easier time. And it doesn't mean that things will always stay that way. It's just part of the cycles and understanding that all together they make up a whole. So it's just funny that there's like a completion card in the beginning of this, and then there's what I'm feeling as what you're seeing as a completion card, or what your goal is as a completion card at the end of this. So it's like some of you guys are looking at this kind of backwards. It's like you're going with superhuman strength. I'm not saying superhuman strength. And you're looking at the human realm. And then as soon as you look at the human realm, you turn into a human. So it's like, instead of saying, okay, I'm going to bring this there and I'm going to like shine it, or I'm going to, you know what I mean? It's like this weird limitation. Again, like, okay, so this is Queen of Swords. It's influencing in, you know, mental and verbal. And it's funny how it looks like Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, I don't know my history at all. I shouldn't have brought that up. But it does look like her, the one I'm talking about. The older past one. But this, again, this like her skirt looks like water. So it's this idea, and then I see this and I imagine like parting the Red Seas or parting the seas. So it's like, I get this feeling with this card that this could be you, or this could be outside energy, or like a mentality, a belief mentality you have of this idea that you have to put down the boundaries, that the boundaries are very solid between areas, and it almost makes it to where the magic doesn't transfer, if that makes sense. So it's like if you brought magic, you got magic here, or you learned, you got tools here, it doesn't transfer. And it's not because it doesn't transfer, it's because of this mentality of this influencing in the verbal. And it's funny because it's like normally I read this card like a very big, like a boundaries card, but this feels like a death. So it feels like the boundaries, like, it's interesting too how this is very similar looking feeling to this. So it's like she's covering it up. She's like, I'm bigger than that energy. That can go. That's fine. I'm bigger. And it's like, and all the butterflies are here, but they're like bordered with like white around it. So it's almost like so that we can see they're different. It just feels very unnatural. It feels like everything that she creates or she attracts or it becomes this unnatural, rigid, forced thing covering up the real energy of everything that's supposed to be. Like, I feel like some of you guys, this is, like I said, a person you're dealing with on the outside, or this is a belief you're taking, but it probably for most of you comes from something how you were raised or something you learned, a coping mechanism. But basically it's that, you know, what's in its place needs to stay in its place. And including, so it's like you guys might believe, part of you, that like, you know, so that you don't ruffle up feathers. I don't know how to, but so you don't like, you know, get people's feathers all worked up or whatever. You know, you're not gonna bring your magic to them. You're not gonna do this and you're not gonna do that. But in reality, it all stems from this idea, or not it stems, it limits you to where that means that you can't bring your protection. You can't, you know, because you're trying to adhere to this rule that everything is gonna fall apart if there's a harmonizing, a connecting. So I feel like for some of you guys, you've kind of come to this place of, okay, either you've come here or you're needing to come to this place of this energy of this hangman of just getting away, like maybe going back, like I said, to where the source, not the sources, but you know, and being able to hear your own voice, being able to know what you're dealing with, because this is way too much of an obstacle. And like I said, if you carry this, it's an obstacle in your life that you haven't been able to, you know, you haven't been able to take your light with you, your tools. And if you're confronting this, it's an obstacle to where it's made you feel dead and dreary. And it's like as if you're that energy and you need to have these boundaries and everything. In reality, you're coming in a natural way is what you want to do. So it feels like in order to adhere to these rules, it's been really draining. And so you're kind of coming to this place of, well, I need to get back in myself. It's funny too, because it's like he has this like a sun thing or whatever around him, but then the hair like mixes with it. So I get this idea just like how like energetically intertwined almost, or a part of that energy he is. So he is this light. He is this, you know, you're bringing your own peace. You have it. You are that. It's just you have to come back to remember that. And, you know, and then when you come here, it's like you face your original goal of, okay, making connections. Is that your end all? Or is the energy and grasping and getting your light back so that you can see connections for what they are and choose as you might, as you will. It's like the light here. I just feel like that. It's like so you can see things clearly. This is really about you guys seeing things clearly, because like I said, the answers are within. Obviously that's what the card said, but you already have the tools. It's just you haven't been peering out and looking at things as if you do. You've been confronting this energy in you or around you, and then adhering to the rules of, okay, you know, like humans don't appreciate, you know, winged people, so I'm not going to be winged down there. And it's like, that's not you. You need to be you. Simplicity. Yeah, be you. Look at wing feathers. Be you. Like, it's not a matter of, like, I mean, it'd be so easy to be like, okay, well, this feather needs to be a different color because it's in a sky covered with sky and clouds. So we don't want things to blend in or match or whatever. And it's a little lighter white, whatever. But no, the artist chose it to still be white. So there's no like, it's like an unapologetic way of being like, no, I mean, if I blend in, I blend in. If I don't, I don't. I'm not going to worry about putting boundaries in a sense to where it's fake between me and everything around me. And I don't know, I kind of want to say like imprisoning myself. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's kind of, you're like, I don't know how to describe that. There's nothing wrong with boundaries, and boundaries are a really good thing, and it's really safe and really helpful. And, you know, you're allotted to use, you know, you have a right to have boundaries and stuff. But if those boundaries keep you from being able to bring your tools and bring your strength into a different area and not be you, then that needs to be addressed. Earth Star chakra, initiation. I mean, it's like to be able to, it feels like some of you guys went into this initiation and it's like you feel like you need to just blend in. And it's like, you don't need to lose yourself. You shine from within, and you be unapologetic about whether you do blend in or don't. You just do you. Wow, that's crazy. Again, blending in. It's like, it makes me think of like flamingos, and obviously it's a heart. It makes me think of flamingos, but then it's like also her energy, and it also is like the wings here. It's like, what are you looking at? Does it really matter? It's like her joy, her strength. It's her heart. And it's like creating these wings and creating this energy, this like power. It doesn't need to be labeled or categorized for it to be incredible, majestic, and powerful. And some of you guys, I mean, I kind of said that to pile one, where it's like, some of you guys have been so used to somebody categorizing you and labeling you. Yeah, maybe you guys should check out pile one if you feel drawn to it. Categorizing you and labeling you in order to be legitimate. But you don't have to be. Like, you carry this light with you. Ancestors, generations. I mean, again, like, here's a snake here. I don't know if it's a snake, but it's like a snake. Yeah, it's a snake. I see it there. And then here's the hands. And it's like, well, you can either, again, it's not apologetic. It's like with the hands, everything, there might be a little line, you know, for the boundary there, but I don't get the sense that it's on purpose. It's just, that's the way the snake was created, and that's the way the hands are. And it's like, just not being apologetic. It's like, sometimes you're going to look like your ancestors, sometimes you're going to look like the people around you, and sometimes you're not. And that's not the point. The point is that you're true to yourself and you keep your strength and what you've gained. And you don't, I feel like for some of you saying that, like, or me saying that, some of you guys have gone through some serious hardships and different things, and you gained some strength and some tools in that time. And just because it might not be appreciated, or it might be looked down on to carry those strength and those tools, and by strength I don't mean like, I mean like strength like higher vibrational, like not like overpowering people like in a mean way or none of that energy, but like boundaries, personal power, all that stuff. And just because it's not accepted in the other realm that you're looking into and might be needing to go to, does not mean it's not yours to use. Does not mean it's not okay for you. Yeah, some of you guys are dealing, I mean, I feel like there's so many different scenarios right now. Some of you guys are dealing with like parental family situation where things aren't appreciated, where you come from and what you've learned, and you're like, you're not the same person they remember, and they're like, you know, fighting that. Some of you guys are dealing with a situation where you're growing in your intuitive psychic abilities and it's not appreciated, or it's looked down on, and you're not, you know, you're skirting around whether to hide yourself or whether to be free. Some of you guys might be dealing with coming out, things like that. The actual closet, like, I mean, there's so many different things some of you guys are dealing with. But yeah, pile 3, that's the reading. If you guys, or I will, like I said, I'll put the decks in the description below. If that resonated for you, let me know in the comments. And if you feel led to check out the other piles in this video or any of them, please do. Also, if you feel led to check out older videos, pick a pile videos of mine, you know, you're welcome to do that as well, because like I said, these are timeless, so you will see this video, you'll be drawn to it, or the pile, whatever, when you are supposed to see it. So some of those other ones might not have applied before, and they might apply now. What was I gonna say? Also, if this resonates, and you like my reading style in general, I would suggest you check out my Zodiac Tarot readings, the monthly readings, because those might resonate for you guys really well as well. So, and yeah, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know. When you subscribe, you know, it helps, it makes it to where you don't miss out on any of my content, and it helps my channel grow. So yeah, so I will see you guys next time. Or if you are sticking around for pile 4, I'll see you then. Hey pile 4, so if you picked pile 4, this is your pile. Let's see. And as usual, I'll put the decks in the description below. Okay. The Infinite. I get the sense with this card, like how she has her hands up, I get the sense that you kind of, whether it's you or it's this concept in this, is the idea of creating your own infinite. So it's like things can be limited when you speak them as limited, when you start setting that limiting belief that this is a limited thing, you know, waiting for the other shoe to drop, or shoe to drop. Is that the bad one? Where you're waiting for something to happen to ruin whatever it is. You know, waiting for that thing, you know, being ready for that instead of understanding that those are actually limiting beliefs, and you don't need to be limited to that and attract that energy in. So instead of that, like going to this place of things are infinite and creating that, I want to say, thought bubble around you to start attracting that energy and attracting those kind of situations, events in your life, basically things that are, you know, that end when they're supposed to end, but as a new door opens type thing, not because of misfortune or, you know, that there's this cruelty in the universe or anything like that, you know, basically not being a victim of that. So the infinite, I get this idea, yeah, like that's number 49, that she's creating her own infinite space. I mean, not that it's not infinite, things aren't infinite, but it's like, that's just the feeling I get, is that it's like part of things being infinite is you believing and you trusting that this is to stay, not necessarily that you're the only thing that makes it infinite, if that makes sense. Positive-minded people. Again, there you go. It's like having that positive mentality instead of expecting the worst or expecting the worst, or, you know, limiting your reality or limiting the things that you attract to you. It's really having this positive minded energy, and in some cases surrounding yourself with that, you know, allowing yourself to connect and draw in more positive minded people and that kind of energy, instead of people that will lower your vibration and just fill your mind with doubt and fear. It's also this idea of like, I get this feeling with this card. It's like, okay, so she's watching and this is, you know, a child, and it's like, she could be thinking in her mind, like, oh, well, this child is about to touch the bubble, and each bubble is like a different dream, right? So once she touches this bubble, you know, it's gonna pop. So she could have that like thing in her mind that like, oh, this child doesn't know better, you know, she's gonna touch this bubble, as soon as she gets too close, it's gonna pop. But the child has this like wonder and amazement. Sorry, that's in her mind. And I want to say that's what she's attracting. That shows her open-heartedness, that she doesn't think about, well, what if I do this, and how is this going to go wrong, and how's that going to go wrong? So she allows herself to reach for these opportunities. Oh my gosh, I should have turned my messenger thing off. Here, let me go turn it off. Sorry about that. I mean, even that, it's like, that can be seen as an interruption, like, you know, like the messenger just was. It could be seen as an interruption. It's like she can see her energy being like, oh, let me touch everything, let me do this, let me reach further, you know, let me not worry about the consequences, but basically not live in fear. She can see that as an annoyance. And even this energy can see it as an annoyance coming, you know, someone watching and being like, having this energy of, you know, oh, don't do this, don't do that. But it's like, even in that sense, be in this positive mindset that it's like, I feel like saying for some of you guys, like, there's an energy of, for some of you, you are this person, or you're being called to be this person. Some of you are dealing with somebody that's more energy of like looking in and being like, oh, you know, I've seen when bubbles pop, I've seen when things go bad when you reach for them, you know. And then there's some of you, there's a group of you that is coming to a place that even despite who you're surrounded in, you need to bring that positive energy. I mean, all of you should be doing this, but you know, you need to bring that positive energy to not judge either way, because as soon as you judge either side, you lower your vibration. And then you start being almost like that fear mentality, that judgment mentality, where you start bringing your vibration lower, and then you start attracting that kind of negative energy around you, and you know, you lose your positive energy. So I feel like there's a few different groups I'm talking to right now, but there's this energy, like I said, of some of you are this person, or you're being called to be this person, of understanding that you can touch this thing and you don't need to worry about it popping, or you don't need to worry about, don't dream too big, you know, this might, you know, fall apart on you. You don't have to worry about that, because even if you dream too big and it doesn't work, it doesn't blah, 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 that confidence and that joy and that, I want to say, confidence in yourself and intentionality that you put into that, you will be bringing the exact perfect opportunities to you, even if it's not through that exact one. So it's like, it'll open doors for other good things to come through. So you need to be true to yourself in that. Okay, and I know this is the back of a card, but I get this sense, like, especially with the tree here, and there's this tree here, this idea that like maybe you're being told, oh, you know, opportunities don't grow on trees, money doesn't grow on trees, all this stuff. And some of you might be holding that as a limiting belief. It's like, yeah, okay, you know, there's a time and place, you know, you need to do work or work on the opportunities presented to you, but you don't need to always be living in fear that you're going to run out of them. You know, it's more so a matter of, let me not put to waste the opportunities given to me. Let me do the best with what I have, rather than I'm going to be afraid I'm never going to have it again. Because once you go to that place of fear again, you lower your vibration. So I feel like some of you have been operating from a place of money doesn't grow on trees, and opportunities, you know, are limited, and you've allowed it to take you to a place of fear rather than a place of empowerment to regain your strength and say, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do. Out of a place, like I said, of empowerment, out of a place of, okay, well, these are the opportunities presented to me, so let me do the best I can, or let me put myself out there as I'm guided or as I'm shown. So I feel like some of you guys, like I said, are limiting your expanse. It's like you're looking at this and saying money doesn't grow on trees, opportunities are limited, and then you come to here, and even though you're supposed to go to this place of infinite, making things infinite and attracting this energy, like making your energy believe in that the universe wants to bless you infinitely, you go to this place of, well, things are limited, so therefore, you know, maybe I can't succeed because maybe someone else needs to succeed. Maybe I need to be the martyr, or maybe I need to be the sacrifice. I feel like there might be even one or two of you that go into that place and think, okay, well, you know, I need to take one for the team. And it's like, that's not what you're being called to do. Like, you're not being called to make yourself a sacrifice so other people can grow, you know, blessings, positions, good positions. It's not that it's limited. You know, if it's meant to happen for you, it's going to happen. Or it's going to be presented to you, and you're going to be shown the opportunity to move forward with it or not. It's a matter of you making that choice. But again, like I said, I feel like, keep wanting to say this, like some of you have had this shown to you, given to you, this dynamic, this idea, this mental pattern, and you've kind of started parenting or been parenting yourself that same way and limiting your own energy, the energy that comes to you based off of that. Let's go with this. Yeah, again, it's like, okay, well, is this darkness? Is this like scraping, fear, anger? Is it like there was torture here? What are we looking at? Either way, it's half of one person and half of a scenario, half of this. So it's like you're not seeing the full picture when you're doing that. You're just seeing the limitations you're putting on things. I mean, even this looks like water too here. It's like water here, and it's like, I just feel like it's limiting. It's fully limiting. It's funny how similar some of these cards, the colors are too. It's like you can look at things as infinite and see the full picture, or at least allow yourself to receive the full energy, the positive and everything. Or you can limit yourself and be hiding behind a corner and not present yourself. I want to say not present yourself to the universe, or not present yourself to, I want to say, your life or the opportunities in your life to bless you. It's like some of you guys need to put your foot out there. You need to put yourself out there so that you can be blessed. And it's not because you're not necessarily, or, but more so it's the idea that maybe some of you guys haven't been putting yourself out there to be blessed because of that fear that, well, maybe this isn't for me, or I don't want to take it away from somebody else, or, you know, I don't want to reach too far and, you know, get my hopes up, you know, this whole fear mentality. It's like, what's it going to hurt? What's it going to hurt? And if it's meant to be for you, it's going to be for you. If it's not meant to be for someone else and someone else doesn't get it, that has nothing to do with you. Like, I feel like there's a group of you that have almost like saved the first fruits, or saved like the good stuff for other people, and have taken like all the spoiled stuff. And it's because you've had this mentality that, well, if you take it, then they won't. And you don't want to take that opportunity from them. But the thing is it's not your job to look out for everyone around you. Some people are going to grow as they learn to look out for themselves. So there's this energy of you need to present yourself to the universe as a willing recipient. Maybe I should flip. I usually don't like to go so late in the tarot. I like to do the tarot sooner. I'm not getting to do it yet. Let's see this one. There you go, protection. It's like, because you've been under this tree, like, okay, this is my protection. As long as I do things reasonable, and I don't ask for too much, and I don't I don't, you know, I don't go beyond my means. I'm not saying that you should be going beyond your means, but you know what I mean? You're the one that's limiting yourself and putting those means on you. Some of these things are things that, like, they're actually not your means. And the only reason they've been your means or they've been your limitations is because you've told yourself you don't deserve better, or it's not important. Well, if you think it would be important to someone else, for someone else, if you would be fighting for someone else for that same thing, then obviously it is important to you. It's just you haven't admitted that to yourself, that that's something you'd want. Wow, sorry guys. I say sorry, I don't mean to be preachy, but if you've watch my videos and stuff, you know I get heated about this stuff. I'm very much about not limiting yourself and just really putting, I want to say putting yourself out there, but I'm not always about that either. So it's funny too, here I am talking about this and like God's like, okay, well, if you didn't get that message, here's this. And even look at these like lines here, and it's almost like similar in a different state to like this, like lightning. It's funny too, because it's like, I feel like for some of you guys, it's like you're operating from this place of, you know, it's like lies you said to yourself to protect yourself when, you know, you had, you know, maybe anguish, I want to say anguish, I guess, or, you know, fire, conflict, different energies around you, maybe even parental. Maybe you saw your parents fighting and you saw people fighting about money and you told yourself, okay, well, I don't want to get into that place again. I don't want to be like them. So this is what I'm going to do. But then what's happened is it's like you've taken that on in yourself, and instead of, it looks like jewels and you tell yourself, okay, cool, I'm good. But what it really is, I just see it like this. I know it is like jewels actually in this picture, but I see it like this is, it's like actually holes. Like there's little holes. And it's like, you can say, okay, well, these holes are so that the sun shines through the tree. But tree branches and trees and foliage weren't specifically made with holes. Like that's literally like cut out. And do you really want to be cutting out of, you know, in that way, at least, and not pruning, but you know, I don't know. It's hard to say what I'm saying, thinking right now. I mean, it's actually funny too. It's like, this is like another cutout. It's almost like this is like an image of this up close. And it's like, and this is what's real. This is like saying like, this is what's like internal, is like this, like actually this is what happened. But we're showing it as, oh, like, it's almost like it's like adorned with all this protection. And I'm going to do things the right way. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. But in reality, it kind of limits the universe. Because if your idea of the right way is the only way you've ever known, then all the blessings in your life will always be limited to what you've always known. You can't ever grow from there because you're always going to only accept what you've always known, if that makes sense. So basically, you won't be able to have anything that's outside of or better than anything you've ever known when you have that mentality, because you won't allow it for yourself, because it's untouchable, because you'll look at it and be like, oh, well, we shouldn't touch that bubble. We shouldn't touch this. It's going to pop any minute. It's like, it's funny too, because you hear these bubbles and these images of like, it's almost like depictions of how phases and what you can be and all this stuff. And it's like you, and then here's these where they're like holes and empty. And it's like, maybe these are meant to be in those. Maybe the tree goes in there and it like is part of all that. That's so weird. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what we got here. Pile 4. Did I say pile 3 in the beginning? I hope I didn't say pile 3. I meant pile 4 if I did say pile 3. So 9 of Swords. Lovers. Ten of Wands. Yeah, oh geez. And 7 of Swords. So it's interesting here right away. I mean, 10 of Wands is always like a card of like, it's like you've accomplished something, you've got something, you've got it built up, but now is a time to need to delegate. And I feel like in this reading for you guys, it's this idea that like, again, you've created this thing, this, God, why do I want to say protection spell? Okay, well, maybe some of you guys have done an actual protection spell. But regardless, it's like you've cursed yourself to be limiting yourself, some of you guys, to, you know, and a cursing, like cursing yourself can literally just consist of saying, I'll never get this, or I'll never be good enough for this, I'll never be that. It's like all it is those words and that intention, that belief. So really, like, it doesn't have to be like a formal curse, like, oh, you know, with the spell, magic, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, it's like even just cursing yourself and telling yourself you're never going to get this, or you're never going to be like them, you're never going to do that. And it's like you've created this thing almost like to cover you like that. Remember, like the protection. And then now you're limited to it. You're limited to operate by its rules. You're limited, and what you accept in, what comes in is limited by its rules. So like, say like, oh God, I don't know, this isn't a frog, so I can't use like a fly. I mean, I could. It's this idea that like, you're limited by what it will allow. So like in this situation, it's like, I imagine like if like she wanted mice as a pet or something, I don't know, stupid, whatever, you know, the cat might get it before she could ever see it. You know, if she wants to catch flies for some reason, the cat might get it before she can ever see it. And it's like sometimes this protection thing starts taking away opportunities and things that you actually might want or need, because it's programmed to do so, because that was the original programming you put on it, because that's what you thought you needed, because that's what you believed you needed. That was your limited beliefs, or the limited beliefs, you know, you were taught at that time, and it might have served you back then, but now it doesn't necessarily serve you because it's keeping you away from opportunities. Oh wait, why did I put that there? So yeah, so it's like being in anguish, again, anguish, that word, anguish. I mean, nine of swords can be like a nightmares thing and, you know, being stuck in your head. But a lot of times it's also, how was this received? Like if you put something out, or you put energy out, or you put an effort to something, it's like, sometimes it's a question of like, well, how is this being received? And that idea of being stuck in your head of, what did they think? What did they think when I did this? How was this received? What happened? You know, I don't know if this worked. I don't know if it's going to work, you know, that kind of energy. So it's like some of you guys are in that place of, well, you've limited yourself so much, and then you're wondering why you haven't been seeing results. Not all of you guys, but it's like you're wondering why your reality is limited to what you've only what you've always known. But it's like, well, that's because you put the limitations on it. It has to look like that. You won't believe for anything bigger. Or at least believe, like seriously believe, not quotes. I didn't mean to use quotes. And I feel like you're making that choice. And some of you guys, there might be a group of you, you're making that choice to, I want to say, operate in unison with someone. Whether it's someone now, or like I said, someone or a group, like, you know, family, parents, you're making the choice to see them as an example. You're making the choice to say, okay, I choose this couple or this unit to see as my example of how I get things done. So it's like you're going in this place of anguish or wondering, you know, how things are received, because you're not operating as your energy. You haven't been operating in that energy. You've been operating in this energy of, well, I'm going to limit things because that's what you saw either needed to happen, or that's what you saw they did, you know? And when you do that, suddenly you have this covering over you that doesn't even match you. It's like you have this cat covering you, not protecting you. You say it's protecting you, but you don't have your own identity anymore. And it's like covering you and keeping things that are actually human away from you, keeping human opportunities that are designed for you away from you, because you're taking on the curse, the protection of doing that protection based off of what you've been through, what you've seen. And then now you might be coming to this place of, okay, well, I need to steal this for myself. And some of you might be going into this place of like, okay, well, I need to steal it, or it doesn't matter if I have support or not. I'm just going to take what I can. But it's also coming from this energy of, I feel like saying, of I'm literally going to steal it back. So what I mean by that is, it's almost like feeling guilty for doing something righteous. So it's like you're operating with a guilty conscience about being true to yourself. So it's almost like if someone stole from you, feeling guilty or feeling like you're doing something wrong by trying to steal it back. And the problem with that is if you're doing something sneakily by stealing something back with that energy, then you haven't addressed to yourself that it wasn't okay what they did. You've only addressed to yourself that you want it back. So if you haven't addressed to yourself that it wasn't okay what they did, or what opportunity was taken from you, or what was wrong that, you know, maybe covering you put on yourself, if you haven't addressed that that was wrong, you're always going to stay operating to those limitations. Does that make sense? So it's like if you're operating in that, then you're always going to still follow those rules, because you haven't addressed that the rules need to change yet. You've just addressed that you want to grab them real quick, grab it back, but not that the initial, it's like dealing with the symptom instead of the problem, or the root of the problem. So you're going to still be keeping on attracting that negative energy, attracting those limiting things, because you haven't gone to this place of you actually are deserving this infinite possibilities, and to actually be able to touch these bubbles with different dreams or whatever it is. And part of you in doing that can make yourself feel like you're being the bad guy. So if outside energies label you whatever, you know, I mean, that's, you're not validated by their labels. However, for some of you that can tempt you to take on or keep on taking on those identities. So I feel like that's what this is like really about, is you need to address the original root of the problem. But part of the root of the problem is the fact that this is the choice you made in the first place. It's not like you're this big bad guy. It's just when you made that choice, you limited yourself. And that's why your options and your stuff has looked so limited and holes in it and covered up. You know, you haven't presented yourself to the universe as a willing recipient of blessings. So of course you're not going to get blessings because you don't believe in them. Not saying all of you don't believe in them, but regardless, this paradigm has made you operate in a way that you don't believe in them. At least in your actions, you've operated that way. Let's see what this is saying. Meta, vulnerability. And exactly. So I feel like, I mean, it's interesting. It's like this is calling you to come to a place of vulnerability, because part of needing that protection, part of doing all that is saying that everything is going to always look the way I've seen it, and I'm going to make that not happen. Or wow. I try to go from a place of power and it's just jumbled my words. But I mean, that might be what you felt, is it's like you've stumbled. You've gone to this place of, you know, it's always going to look the same. It's always going to be like this. So I'm going to take power and I'm going to put on this belief, this pattern, this thing to limit myself. So I never end up like the ugliness that I saw. So really, like, you took on this energy and you've limited yourself like this because you've insisted you needed that protection. So the way to get out of that is to come to this place of vulnerability and know that your world does not consist of that anymore, and it's not limited to your past. So as soon as you start trusting that the infinite is possible, as soon as you start operating in this place of vulnerability where it's like, okay, well, they can, I want to say like, it's almost like they can exist together, like the different, you know, sunflowers and I think lavender, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. As soon as they can exist together, as soon as you can see that you can still keep your identity, again, remember, they're two different things. You can keep your identity and other people can have their identity or vice versa. And you don't go into this place of judging them and you don't go into this place of what I know is better. So you lose, you know, losing that vulnerability, but you go to this place of vulnerability that, you know what, you know, everyone has their different stages. Everyone has their different ways they do things, and I'm going to focus on what's right for me, and I'm going to spread positive energy. I'm going to spread love. I'm going to be positive minded and not limit the universe saying that what I know is always what's right. It's funny too, because it's like these colors, like these cards are so in line with the colors. I feel like being positive minded is also a matter of like, you know, you can't be positive minded and have your mentality, your peace, your happiness, your positivity be based on the people around you. Positive minded is your mind itself. You know, you bring the positive mind. It doesn't matter what's around you. So someone that's actually positive minded is going to go into any situation, any frustration, anything, and not sink down to that lower vibrational place, but keep this positivity, knowing that there's always infinite possibilities and it doesn't have to look like just what they see or just what they expect or what they've always known. And then that's when they start opening themselves and presenting themselves to the universe as a willing recipient for blessings. And they start seeing things that way in a new paradigm, outside of this paradigm, new, like limitless possibilities. I don't know. Yeah. So I hope that resonated for you guys. Pile 4, let me know what didn't in the comments. Also, if this resonated for you and if you feel drawn to check out any of the other piles, I suggest you do that in this video. And then also, if you feel drawn to check out past videos, these are all timeless. So really, my intention is that you hear these, you see these videos right when you're at the best place to receive it. So in your mind, in your heart space, whatever. So so some of the past videos I have, there might be piles that didn't resonate for you, or not resonate, but you weren't drawn to at the time. And then now you might be drawn to. So, because it might be like now you might be supposed to hear it. So, so I suggest you check those out if that's what you feel called to do. Also, if you generally like my reading style, I do suggest you check out my monthly zodiac readings. And those can be also beneficial for you guys. And this month, I don't know what's going on with September. It's my birth month, so like I'd like to be like I got all my readings done for September, but I ended up traveling and then getting really sick and then losing my voice a bunch. So like I'm gonna try to do September's readings. At least this point I'm saying this right now. It may change, but I might end up skipping September's readings. We'll see. So if there's no readings for September, that's why. At least as far as the September zodiac readings. As far as the pick-up piles, I'll still do pick-up piles this month. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do September's though. I really don't like that I haven't yet. I have already Aries done, but I still need to do all the other signs. So, but again, I've been losing my voice every time whenever I've been talking a bunch on these videos. So yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, so I hope that resonated. Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any of my content. Also, feel free to share this video. Like, that helps me so much. It helps me grow my channel. And it's really amazing. It's such a blessing. So I already appreciate, like, everyone that has been like loyal to the channel and checking out all my readings and stuff. Like it's just been a huge blessing to be able to just like have like God use me in this way, and to be able to speak into people's lives in this way, and like it's really cool. So yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.